Welcome to My The Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. All right. Today is our Thursday show. And before we get into Haunting Adeline, we're going to get into our thread today. All right. What is your creepy girl story? All right. Once, a friend added me on Facebook. When I clicked on her profile, it indicated that she was in a relationship. That person had a fake account with my picture. Oh, shit. So she thought she was in a relationship with you. But in reality, she was in a relationship with a catfish dude using your pictures. Damn, that's kind of crazy. My sister is an insane person. She started dating this lovely divorced traddy named Mark, who had a 5-year-old daughter. My sister asked him to choose between her and the daughter, and he obviously said the daughter. She got insanely jealous. Sister started making a bunch of fake Facebook accounts. Some of Mark, some of his friends. Long story short, she made chat logs that framed this guy for molesting his daughter and sent him to his ex-wife. Ex-wife didn't really believe it, but of course, you have to take it seriously. He had to take his daughter to the doctors to see if there was any evidence of horrifying, and was talking to the police a lot, but eventually they cleared him. The police tracked the logs to our shared home computer. Mark gets a call saying, "We found the person doing this. We are on our way to arrest them." They were on their way to arrest my dad at his work. Mark realized what was happening in this moment and stopped them and explained it was my sister. Thankfully, Mark left her. After a bit more investigation of the computer, they found all these Google searches about how to kill a child and make it look like an accident. Yo. I remember something about putting a snake in their bed. She's had like 10 husbands / boyfriends, I remember, and all of them have insane stories. She broke men down to nothing. It's wild. Yo, she is a black widow, bruh. She said, she Googled, what is the safest way to kill a kid and make it look like an accident? That is crazy. What the fuck? Yo, that's crazy. She is a huge red flag, bro. One time I got on the bus to leave university and a girl came and sat down next to me, pulled out her phone and showed me a picture she had taken of me on a previous day on the bus. She didn't say anything, just showed me the picture. I had no idea how to react. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to react either if somebody showed a picture of me that they took of me on a bus. Like, I mean, my thing is like, so, you know, like what's going on here? You know, you trying to fuck? Like, you know, like what's going on here? What are we trying to do here? Because, you know, I'm down. Like you trying to fuck? Like, what's up? Like, what are you trying to get out of this exchange is my thing. Like, what are you trying to get out of this exchange? Because I'm not understanding here. Like, what is going on? All right. Hey, okay. On Valentine's Day, my junior year of high school, 2 girls asked me out. One was very cute and timid. I really liked her. The other person had a boyfriend. After rejecting the second girl, she went to her boyfriend and told him to beat me up because I was to blame for making her want to cheat on him. Her boyfriend apologized to me and then broke up with her in the same sentence. That girl threatened us both with death for several weeks after. Hey, yo, W mans though. You know what I mean? Instead of taking his dumbass girlfriend's side, he was like, wait, what do you mean? He's the reason why you wanted to cheat. Bitch, are you serious? You know, I'm sorry, man. You and I are fucking done. You want to go get some bitches? Damn right I want to go get some bitches. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? You know, like the biggest thing for me is I absolutely hate when a guy catches his girl cheating. He goes after the guy. Bruh, what are you talking about? Like, if I caught my girl cheating, I'd be like, yo, what the fuck, man? I'd be like, how did all this happen? I'd be like, look, brother, I'm not mad at you. Why? Because you getting some booty. You know what I mean? You probably are thinking like she's single. You know, she likes me. She's ready to mingle. You know, things are all good, whatever the case may be. And so, you know, you're thinking like, all right, cool, everything's fine. And then you find out, you know, her boyfriend busts through the door talking about what the fuck is going on. Like, why are you going to get mad at the dude? If anything, you know, the dude is just as duped as you are. He's sitting there like, nigga, I got played too. You know, like, shit, I got played too, brother. Like, damn, I didn't know what was going on. So, I mean, god damn, dude, that is ridiculous. Hey, but W on him, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. W on him. After we broke up, she broke into my apartment and dug through my trash to find used condoms and tried to inseminate herself. This got a restraining order against her because she kept throwing rocks at my window and waiting outside, trying to attack my new girlfriend. The police made fun of me when I call in the restraining order. Nigga, what? Hey, yo, shout out to Drake, bro. Put some hot sauce in your shit. That is wild. She said I tried to inseminate myself. Wow, bro. Wow. Yo, bitches are crazy. He told that girl, man,
she belongs to the street.
You know, he was like, I need a restraining order on your bitch ass because you crazy as fuck. God damn. Oh my God. I was in New Orleans watching some street performers go crazy when a mom came up behind me and fully grabbed both my ass cheeks. I was 18 and standing next to both of my parents, and she said, hey, you remind me of my son. Huh? Which was probably one of the weirdest things to say in that moment. Yeah, definitely weird. That is very definitely weird. What the fuck? She just said, you remind me of my son. Like, what the fuck? Like, that is not sexy, bro. That, like,
bruh.
What the fuck? That's a red flag as fuck, bro. Like, what in the hell? She said, you remind me of my son. Goddamn. Like, okay, the fuck? Talking to a couple of girls in a bar with a buddy. It's going well. For some reason, the girl I was talking to was in the other's purse and squealed, oh my God, you still have these? Or something like that. And the other girl got really kind of tense and tried to get to her purse real quick. But before she did, the other girl dumped it on the table. There were 4 to 5 bundles of hair. Like each was a small ponytail with rubber bands holding the hairs together. Turns out she had cut these mini ponytails from her ponytails of hair from various dudes she had been with who had long hair. My buddy who was chatting her up had long hair, so this was pretty creepy, but what got me was when the other girl dumped out the purse, you had the hair, your typicals, makeup stuff, wallet, cigs, gum, etc. And then about 7 to 8 fairly large knives. I didn't stick around much longer. This bitch got knives in her fucking... What the... She has knives in her purse, bruh? Yo, what kind of women are y'all talking to? God damn. I mean, the whole cutting men's ponytails is a little weird too. Like, what the fuck is going on? Date guys with shorter hair. You know what I mean? Just date dudes with shorter hair. Why are you doing all this extra shit? You know what I mean? Why are you doing all this extra shit? Just date a dude with shorter hair. Like, what the... Okay. All right, man. God damn. Oh, lordy. Lordy. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Just...
Bruh.
God damn. Girl stole my jacket and made a shrine to me with manga style drawings of her and I making out. Okay. That's a little creepy, but sure. I mean, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, I mean, she befriended my younger sister just to get her to ask her to a sleepover. I woke up in the middle of the night with her laying in bed with me. I was 17 and she was 13. Yo! I mean, I understand, like her having a crush or whatever, but it's like, you can't be in my bed. And it's cool. He, at least he was 17. And it's not like he was an adult and she's a minor. So it's like, okay, it ain't too crazy, but goddamn, she out here liking her some older men. Oh, no. She followed me everywhere in total silence, just staring at me from a few meters away. She even followed me to college. If I got on a bus or train, she'd run to make sure she caught it. When I called the police on her when she didn't stop after I repeatedly asked her and told her brother to tell her to stop, she cried to the cop, which made her feel sorry for her to the point where the cop asked me to give her a chance. I didn't. The cop was just like, look, man, why don't you just date her, bruh? Like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with this? Knowing if it was the other way around, there's no way the cop would just be like, oh, come on, girl. Just date him. Just date. What are you doing? Just date him. Come on. Come on. Just give the guy a shot. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. That's why that stuff is such bullshit. It's like, dude, if a girl is following me and I don't feel comfortable or safe with that, and I go to the police, they sit there and tell me, oh, why don't you just date the girl? Give her a shot. But if it was the other way around and the dude was following the girl, they damn well wouldn't be saying no shit like, oh, why don't you just give the guy a shot? Why don't you just date the guy? He probably not that creepy. He's not going to chop you up and kill you, And it's like, you don't think she ain't capable of that? Like, bruh. Oh, God. Fucking ridiculous, man. Fucking ridiculous. She broke into my dorm room without me knowing and stood over me while I slept. What the fuck? Yo. When I woke up, she invited me to a threesome. I noped the fuck out of there. Yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of scared. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, the threesome thing sounds great in theory, but if I'm being honest with you, I'd kind of just be a little wary. I'd be like, this sounds good, but you know what I mean? Damn. In college, I was in an apartment with 3 other guys. There was a knock on the door. When I'm there by myself, I answer it, and there's a girl that I've never seen. She says she's got some food to drop off for one of my roommates. I let her in and put it in the fridge. She kind of looks around for a minute and leaves when she realizes no one else was there. I tell my roommates, and they freak out. Apparently, this girl has been stalking the guy she was looking for. They ask a bunch of questions about what she did, and I told them she just came in and left. I didn't really understand what the big deal was. Sometime later, we had a party, and there was a bunch of people in the living room. Roommate and I are sitting on the couches facing each other. We look over to the side, and there's the parting of the Red Sea moment where it seems everyone in the party moved to one side or the other, and we both had a clear view all the way into the kitchen. The girl was standing there absolutely still and just staring at him. It was like something out of a movie. There was something disturbing about it, how she was completely frozen in a room full of people talking, drinking, and moving about in one way or another. She was just staring at him. This was it. I didn't have parties for a while, and I told her to not, or I was told not to let her in. She knocked on the door a couple of times, but I didn't answer. I know it's not much of a story, but I'll never forget the frozen, obsessive look on her face. I mean, I would have talked to her if I'm being honest with you. I don't get me wrong, like, she creepy, I get it, But I would have talked to her. I would have just went over to her and I would have just told my homeboy, go over there and fucking talk to her, bro. Go figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? A shot. Being honest with you, I'd probably, got me some coochie. Like, hey, man, she obsessed, with your boy, and I'd be like, hey, you about to be obsessed with this dick in a minute, me, hey, why not? But I would have at least talked to her. If I was the friend, I would have talked to her as well, and I'd have been like, hey, so do you like my boy or what? What's going on here? Because you be staring at him and you bring him food and, you doing all this. Like, you like him? You want to date him? I would at least talk to her because I feel like it's a thing where she kind of feels like, ooh, I want to talk to him and I want to approach him, but maybe I shouldn't because I don't know if he's going to want to or if he likes me like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, at the same time, you ain't got to be fucking creepy about it. I understand that too. But that's why I would have talked to her and maybe opened up the conversation because then maybe she would have got uncreepy. I don't know. Just saying. My 2 cents. A chick in my office looked up my address in our system and turned up at my house, threatened to break my door down if we didn't go to the beach. She then later manipulated her friends into them thinking I was treating her badly. So next time she turned up, she had backup and all 3 were screaming at me from outside. Yo, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, you threatened me to go to the beach. I go to the beach with your dumb ass. And then you're convincing your friends that I'm treating you shitty? What happened? Wait, what's going on here? What'd I do wrong? Oh, okay. I'm utterly speechless. Like,
bruh.
Okay, all right. I went on a Tinder date back when that was a thing and mistakenly invited her back to my place after dinner. She passed the vibe check, so it seemed innocent enough. We got to my place around 8 p.m. She was coquettish and it was cute, but I knew she wanted to go further. We hung out until about 10 p.m. and I was not super into it, so I suggested I walk her to her car. She did not want to leave though. I would start to walk her to the door and she would excuse herself to the bathroom and then go back to my couch. I literally said, it's getting late. Let me take you to your car so you can get home. She would not leave. I was as polite as I could be trying to get her out of my place. Finally, I kind of danced with her in the kitchen and spun her out the door, locked it behind us and walked her to her car. But she stood in front of my door for like 10 more minutes. It was past midnight by the time I finally got her to start her engine and pull away. It was this high tension standoff I had never experienced before. Man, hey, yo, homeboy had to pull out the dance moves to get this bitch out the door. He was just like, oh, come here. Let me do, out the door. Man, he was like, bro, you gotta go. Like, I enjoyed my time with you. You're a cool chick. I get you trying to get fucked, but I ain't trying to give out some penis tonight. I'm trying to go to bed. Like, goddamn, man. Like, what's going on here? Ay. Dating casually for a month, she suspected I was cheating. I wasn't. Because on weekdays, I would go to bed early, 9:30, and be up at 5:45 for work. She thought this was a ruse and decided to drive 30 minutes to my apartment building in the middle of the night. She waited outside for someone to come into the building and followed them in. Then go to my apartment and knocked on my door to see if I'm there and alone. She told me this when she came inside and then left and went home to sleep. Bro, what the fuck?
Bruh.
Like, how in the hell am I cheating by saying I'm going to bed early because I got to wake up early for work? Like, bro, what is going on here? It's one of those things, man. Like, I even said it last show where it's like, why in the hell are you dating when you are this fucking insecure because you got past traumas and you got past, boyfriend shit and you got dumped and fucked over or whatever the case may be. It's like, why are you dating, bruh? You know what I mean? If this is how you're going to be, if you're going to be this insecure in the relationship, why are you dating? Because it makes no fucking sense for you to be this fucking insecure to the point where you have to go to his house and knock on his door and be like, is someone here? Are you alone? Like, bitch, yes. And I need to go to bed because I need to go to work in the morning. So can you go home? And she's like, oh, okay. All right, well, call me tomorrow. Like, damn, girl.
Stop it. Get some help.
Please, just, ay. All right. A guy on Am I the Asshole was talking about how he's married with 2 kids and he adores his wife. She makes him very happy. This last girlfriend cheated on him, something he found out when one of his buddies told him about seeing her on a dating app, and his wife, who was a coworker at the time, helped him pick up the pieces. All was going swimmingly until his wife got a new phone. He was fixing something on her old phone for her. That's when he saw she had cheated, or she had created a profile on a dating app using his ex-girlfriend's photo and info. The ex had never cheated. This wife had framed her so they would break up and she could have the guy to herself. Yo! Damn! She said, that is my man. That's my man. Fuck this bitch. I'm going to make a page of her. And she probably went and was just like, oh my God, is this your girlfriend? Oh my God, she's on a dating app. How dare she? I can't believe that. And then, he confronts her like, hey, are you on a dating app? No. What? No, why would I be on a dating app? We're together. He's like, oh, but then what is this? What is this? This is a profile of you on a dating app. And she's like, what do you mean? It's not on my phone. Yeah, likely story. You probably just deleted it. Blah, 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 blah. And then they break up and she's like, ooh, yes, good. He's mine. And then she swooped in and was just like, I see that your penis is lonely. Can I help it out? And he was just like, for sure. I'd love for you to help my penis out. And she fucking stole that nigga's man. God damn, bro. That is wild. You ladies are crazy. Met a girl on a dating app and had simple conversation for a few days. Suddenly, about 5 days in, before we had the chance to meet, she tells me the names of her mother, father, and sister and address the landline of the house I grew up in. Oh, mother, father, and the address and landline of the house I grew up in. She told me she found out who everyone was and looked them up on Facebook and put a face to the name if I ever told any stories. So she looks up the names of his mom, his dad, his sister, the address, and the landline phone number of this nigga's home house. What the fuck? Just so that way, if he tells a story about his mom, his dad, or his sister, she has a face to put to the name. Asking me for a picture was completely out of the question, I guess. Steered clear of that storm pretty quickly after. Yeah, bro. She's a little crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. She's a little crazy. I mean, I've always known, girls to kind of do their research and like search guys up on, social media and stuff like that and so on and so forth. My significant other did it. I know some other guys, buddies of mine, that their significant other did it. It happens. All right. 100%. But I just think it's crazy as fuck. The fact that she went to that far. I mean, the address and the landline of the house that he grew up in. Like, I get it. You can look up the mom, the dad, and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. Whatever. But I think she went way, way too far with the whole, landline and address and all that kind of stuff. And then her reasoning for it was just like, bruh, I mean, we just started dating. You know, like we just met on a dating app. Like, what the fuck? All right, I'm going to do two more. A friend suggested I go on a date with a girl he met on a dating site. I went out with her, just didn't click. She was way too presumptuous about how well things were going. Month later, he's moved her in as a roommate. According to him, she was cool, had a boyfriend already, etc. I started seeing her outside my apartment all the time. Now she was a runner, and I only lived a few blocks away, so I hand waved that. I also started running into her at the grocery store like all the time. But, you know, same area. I ran into other friends at the store. Not as frequently, but, you know, it's the grocery store in our area. Or it's the only grocery store in our area. Then there she was, always in a state of undress when I came over. Like she was just heading to the shower, just got out. Her room was right by the front door. She just happened to be changing. She cornered me in just a towel a few times, but her house-ish. Okay, but her house-ish. I don't know what that is. All right, cool. What was the last straw for me was at a party, she started accusing me of drinking all of her beer. I guess as an excuse to talk to me. It was the guy she brought to the party drinking her beer. She was claiming he was her boyfriend, but I ended up chatting with him for a bit, and they had class together, but had just started talking like the day before. I ended up crashing on the couch that night, woke up to her dead eyeing me from her bed while riding that dude reverse cowgirl. Told my friend I wasn't going to come over anymore while she lived there. She ended up stopped paying rent, and he had to go through a whole eviction process. Yo, what the fuck is going? Why is she fucking that dude when you actually want to fuck him? Why don't you just say you want to fuck him? You know what I mean? Why don't you just be forward with homeboy instead of like this random guy that you just met that you have class with? You're talking about, oh yeah, that's my boyfriend. Da, da, da. In reality, he's not your boyfriend, and you are for some reason trying to make the guy jealous. But then you go have sex with the dude, and literally you're like riding his penis, but you are staring at the guy you really want to fuck. I mean, make it make sense. What in the hell is going on here? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then she's just staring and just riding his dick and just staring at homeboy. Like, nigga, what? Huh?
Bruh.
Yeah, man. All right, last one for this thread. Currently dealing with one, recently became a former coworker, messages me inappropriate pictures of her in lingerie for an objective opinion on how she looks, and when I told her to stop, insist it's my significant other's wishes that she stops, not mine. So my significant other is aware of this creepy girl and told me not to block her and just ignore it so that I have evidence in case I ever need it. And she tries to say I was inappropriate with her at our job. Facts, because
She belongs to the streets.
you know, that is facts, because if she tries to flip the script on you and say some old crazy shit, yeah, they gonna believe you. Why? Because she gonna, frame the receipts in a way that makes it look like you asked for those pictures. Yeah, that's how they gonna get you. And that's no bueno right there. So yeah, I think his girl is right about that, because if there's a thing where, she tried to do some old sus crazy shit, hey, man. Whew. Yeah. Be careful out there, man. God damn. But that's going to be that thread, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that thread. I know we didn't do a thread on Tuesday, but I loved doing that Patreon episode, where it was just nothing but Patreon submitted scenarios. So we made up for it today, though, for this thread. We're going to head into the announcements. Patreon.com/Am I the Asshole podcast. If you want to get your scenario onto the show, Patreon is the place to do it, as well as getting an exclusive episode every single Friday. So get on there, man. We do have a free episode on there, so if you guys want to check that out, you can totally check out the free episode that we did on there. It'll say free Patreon episode. It'll say January free Patreon episode, so you can't miss it. It's also on listening platforms. If you guys are on listening platforms, I know most of you guys are on listening platforms, so that's totally awesome. TikTok and Instagram, follow us there for the clips. TikTok has been going crazy, so thank you guys so much for all that support. And without further ado, let's get into Haunting Adeline, man. We are on chapter 6. So the last time we left off, I believe it was I can't remember. I believe her mom came to visit. I think that's what it was. Her mom came to visit, and she was having the people come in and change out the windows and the doors and stuff like that. And then she had got left more roses, and the guys were just like, oh, yeah, there's some roses left for you. You know, it was like a whole bouquet of them and whatnot. And, that kind of creeped her out, or whatever the case may be. And then her mom came, and they had talked a little more, I believe, about her grandmother, Gigi, I believe it was, and how she died in that house and all that kind of stuff. So that was, I think, what we left off on last time. If that's not what we left off on, I don't know, leave me a comment, but I believe that's what we left on last. So let's go ahead and get into this next chapter here.
Chapter 6. The Shadow. The crackle from the small device indicates my directions are about to come in. I shake out my fists, restlessness binding my nerves into tight knots. 5 bodies in the main area, all of them armed, 3 more on their 6 and 4 on their 12. I crack my neck, enjoying the feeling of my bones popping. Tension releases and my shoulders relax. 12 men won't be too hard to take down, but I'm going to have to be quick and stealthy. It was easier to pick off the guards surrounding the decrepit warehouse. The sun has long since fallen, providing ample coverage. It took 2 seconds to find a spot hidden in the shadows, giving me the perfect angle for a sniper shot. Their mistake was relying on their limited eyesight for intruders. My ability to hide in the shadows is what ultimately got them killed. Should have had night vision goggles, like me. Maybe then I would have had a bit of entertainment. I licked my lips, anticipation sharp on my tongue. "Be careful, Z," says my right-hand man, Jay. His hacking skills are nearly as good as mine, and only because I was his teacher. I created an entire organization built solely around ending human trafficking. I started out as a hacker, exposing the truths of our corrupt government, and then, as I became more aware of their true nature, the depravity of their sickness, it turned into personally snuffing out every single one of these sick bastards, starting from the bottom up. Terminate all the worker bees, and the queen is left vulnerable and weak. But I couldn't be both a hacker and a mercenary, and what I really enjoyed doing is being the one to put the bullet in their heads myself. So I created my org, Z, from the ground up, recruiting a team of hackers to help the mercenaries with their job, get into the rings, kill them all, and get the victims out safely. I stationed my mercenaries in high-rate trafficking areas and assigned them their own team of hackers. Now, Z has become so big that there are teams in every state and several outside of the country as well.
Damn.
Jay is the only mouth I need in my ear. His skill levels out to the equivalent of what 3 hackers could do, and he's the only one I trust with my life. I don't acknowledge Jay's sentiment. I don't fucking need luck, just skill and patience, and I have both in spades. Slinking up to the door, I keep my body close to the wall and my footsteps undetectable. When I reach the door, I hear the subtle click of the door unlocking. Jay's doing. Despite the decay of the building, it's still equipped with the latest technology where needed. The ringleaders want to keep the appearance of a rundown, abandoned building to remain under the radar, but completely impenetrable for squatters and graffiti artists. "It's clear. Systems are down for 10 seconds. Get in now." Quickly, I turn the handle and slip through in a matter of seconds, opening the door just enough to fit my body through. The metal door shuts behind me soundlessly. The old building is mostly an open concept. I came through the back door that leads into a dimly lit hallway. Straight ahead and to the left will open up to where the machinery used to be when this was a rubber factory. That is where the girls are being held. Muffled screams reach my ears, the sounds of girls crying and in pain. White, hot rage blinds my vision, but I don't rush in or lose my shit. No one can do this job and lose their fucking shit, otherwise these girls would never be saved. It's hard not to, though. These assholes bring out the worst in me. "Overrode the cameras. You have 1 hour before the system resets, and I'm kicked out," Jay informs. I only need 10 minutes. Keeping to the shadows, I make my way through the hallway and peek around the corner. There are thin cots scattered across about 1,000 square feet of space. Each cot is accompanied by a metal pole installed from the ground up. Each girl is chained to the poles by a metal collar that prevents them from moving only a couple of feet from their cots. I flex my fists, tightening them until my hands go numb. I pull my gun out of the back of my jeans. Once they notice the first man is down, the rest will open fire, which is why I need to be careful and quick. Whether they're going to be careless about the girls is impossible to say. The men know the risk if their leaders find out a virgin girl was killed. That means money taken out of someone's pockets and their head on a stake to set an example. But some of these men care more about their own lives, even if it means they're walking around with a hit on their head. Just as Jay said, 3 men stand guard in front of me, completely unaware of my presence. Stupid fucks. I'll never understand how people can't sense danger when it's right up their assholes. Shit boggles me. In one quick succession, I take out all 3 men. Their bodies drop and a few of the girls jump. Some cry and hunker down while others stay deathly silent. A normal reaction for a little girl would be to scream, but these girls have already been desensitized to murder. The 5 men in the pit of girls turn their heads in tandem, their faces morphing from surprise to alarm to anger in a matter of seconds. Immediately they scramble for their guns. My body is still concealed by the wall I'm hiding behind. 2 of them open fire, forcing me to back away. 1 bullet skids across the corner of the wall right past my face. Chunks of concrete fly into my eyes as more bullets ping around me. I grunt, rubbing at my lids to clear my vision. Right as I ready up again, 1 guy comes barreling around the corner. He's dead before he even spots me, a nice little hole right between his brows. He was an ugly motherfucker anyway. World will do just fine without him. Before his body can topple over, I grip him by the collar of his shirt and bring him in close. Wincing at the bad breath emanating from the rotting hole in his face, I step out of the hallway using the dead man as a shield against the flying bullets still hurtling my way. The dead body takes a few hits while I fire off 2 single shots. 2 more bodies go down, and I step back inside the hallway, pushing away the bloodied man who's now riddled with bullets. His head smacks off the concrete floor with a sickening thud. I used his body as a shield for 5 seconds, but I still got lucky. It's not like the movies. Bullets can easily fly through bodies, entry and exit point, just to enter right back into my body. I don't use other people for shields unless I have to, and it's only for a few seconds at a time. A chorus of noises arise in the warehouse in the form of terrified screams from the girls, shouts of panic from the men, orders to kill the puta, and yells of outrage for the girls to stop crying. There are still 6 men left, and I can feel the panic crawling off them. "Come out with your hands raised and gun on the floor, or I'll start killing these bitches," one of them shouts, his voice echoing. I sigh, roll my shoulders, and do as he says. I drop my gun on the floor and step out with my hands raised. The 6 men stand before the group of girls, keeping them safe from stray bullets. The knowledge that they're only doing so to ensure the product isn't damaged, rather than giving a shit about hurting them, burns hot in my chest. Come on, the fun was just starting, I croon, a smirk pulling my lips up. Shut up! The man spits. His head is shaved, tattoos covering him from head to toe, and wearing clothes that look like they haven't been washed in weeks. And look at that. Quite the gnarly scar on his forehead. Goddamn. It looks like someone took a bread knife and just sawed at his head. This must be dear old Josh, just who I was looking for. Josh's eyes are wide with fear, and based on the crack pipes sitting on the table behind him, I'd say most of them are high off their rockers. Not so good. They get trigger happy when they're tripping on whatever substance they injected into their tired veins, and I got 6 of those happy fingers on triggers. Who sent you? Josh shouts, emphasizing his question with a wave of his gun. I sent myself, I answered dryly. Why do they always think I'm working for someone else? I don't work for anyone but myself. The man holds his gun above my head and shoots it off, attempting to scare me. See, trigger happy. I don't flinch. Instead, I take the time to look at my surroundings better. There's a table to my left, littered with guns, ashtrays, empty beer cans, and another crack pipe. Perfect. Don't make me ask again, the man says, his finger caressing the trigger. You Josh? I ask, keeping my body as still as ice. The man's brows jump in surprise, and I see the paranoia leaking into his eyes from here. He's not going to be much help like I had hoped. He's buzzing too hard. How you know that, huh? You following me? I smile, baring all my teeth. It's what I do best after all. I heard you're the main man around here, running the show and all that. He shifts. The asshole can't help but feel a little pride. I just know it, like he's doing something good in the world, when all he's doing is plaguing hundreds of little boys' and girls' nightmares. I was hoping you could help me out, man. Yeah, he patronizes. You think so? You think I'm going to tell you shit, man? He fires off another shot, this time next to me. Too close for comfort, enough to feel the heat of the bullet. I still don't flinch, and if anything, that pisses him off more. I sigh. With his current state of mind, he's useless to me. Just gonna have to kidnap his ass and wait till he comes down from his high. A quick sweep of my eyes proves that I have about 2 seconds before the rest of the men start shooting, regardless of what comes out of my mouth. 2 seconds. That's all it takes to stick my hand in my hoodie pocket and fire off a shot through the material, downing one of the men to my left. The surprise of that move gives me a small window of time to upend the table and roll behind it. Glass shatters from the ashtrays, and a gun falls off the table and discharges, eliciting shocked screams from the girls. Fuck. If that bullet ricochets and lands within an inch of those girls, I'm going to let them stab me for sure. No cries of pain follow, so I blow out a deep breath, relieved, but no less pissed at myself. Like clockwork, a stream of bullets impales the thick wooden table. Lucky for me, most don't make it through. It's too dangerous for me to return fire. I won't be able to peek my pinky toe out without it getting shot off, and I refuse to endanger these girls even more and fire blindly. I don't take shots unless I'm positive they'll hit true. The only thing I can do is wait. It doesn't take long for them to empty their clips. I hear the rustling of clothing and muttered curses as they scramble to reload. It takes even less time for me to shoot the remaining 4 dead. Sans Josh. I'm going to save him for later. The bullets rip through their brains in such quick succession that their bodies drop at the same time. You see that? I ask aloud, already knowing Jay is watching through the cameras. Fuck, it only took you 8 minutes, Jay groans through my earpiece. $500, fucker, is my smug answer. A string of curses leaves his mouth, but I tune him out. Josh is spitting out his own colorful tirade as he scrambles to find another gun. I shoot him in the knee. the angry man collapsing instantly. Screams of raw pain and anger fill the warehouse, and if I didn't know any better, I'd think he was a little girl himself. No, the girls in this warehouse are far tougher than he could ever hope to be. He's just a whiny bitch trapped in a man's body. I stand and saunter over to Josh, enjoying the sight of him clutching his knee, blood bubbling from the wound and onto the floor. His face is red, full of murderous intent as he glares at me. I ignore the look, instead surveying the copious amounts of blood streaking the cement floor. I don't want the girls to have to step through it. Jay, have Ruby make a pathway for these girls. Ruby is one member of the crew who comes in explicitly assigned to handle the survivors and get them to safety. She's a red-headed spitfire, but turns to mush when she's around any of the women or children we save. A pathway? Yeah, I don't want a drop of blood on their toes. The warehouse is full of about 50 girls, all deeply traumatized and broken. They will never have to wash blood from their bodies again if I have anything to do with it. One of the girls stands, a fierce expression on her face. She can't be more than 15 years old, but a pedophile ring will age anyone significantly.
Are you going to hurt us too?
She asks loudly. Her dirty brown hair is tangled around her face. She's filthy. They all are. The extensive amount of skin showing is smudged with dirt and blood. She looks the oldest, and by her protective stance, she's pronounced herself the mother of the group. All of the girls here were kidnapped within the past 6 days. 6 days of unspeakable torture and assault that will stay with them for the rest of their lives. 6 days of dirty men sexualizing, beating, and molesting them. The young girls would not have been deflowered, but that doesn't mean the monsters didn't find other ways to get pleasure out of them. Jay and I have been watching this location for the past 12 hours, identifying both the girls and the men. Each second that ticked by felt like an eternity, knowing that they were enduring something horrific. While Jay kept tabs, I allowed myself 5 hours of sleep before I came here, enough time to keep my mind sharp. I have to be at my absolute best if I'm going to get them out alive. I'm here to get you girls home, I respond, tucking my gun back in my boot. She looks at me warily, as do some of the other girls. None of them are going to trust me. I get it. I'm scarred from head to toe, have 2 different colored eyes, both on the dramatic spectrum, and I'm not a small guy. Not to mention I just murdered a bunch of men in front of their faces. Backup is coming in, Jay informs, right before I hear the back door open and several people rush in.
Young man, it's a bloodbath in here. These poor girls. Shame on you, Z.
I wince at the sound of Ruby's voice. Can't make me flinch from firing off a bullet 2 inches from my head, but Ruby, God help me. It couldn't be avoided, Ruby.
Not another word from you. If your mother were here, she'd have your ass.
I grunt, but don't respond, letting her hem and haw over the survivors while still muttering reprimands under her breath. Ruby was a good friend of my mom's and likes to remind me, and the rest of the crew, that she used to wipe my ass when I was a baby. If I could have killed the traffickers in private, I would have, and I hate that I added to their trauma, but when you have a warehouse full of armed men, there's no calling them back to your office one at a time like they're being fired from their job. They need to be taken down swiftly where they stand, otherwise there's room for error, potentially resulting in one of the survivors getting hurt or killed. Necessary means to get the girls out. The other 2 that came in with Ruby, Michael and Steve, take care of the bodies. Michael is dragging a struggling Josh out, tossing me the keys to the girls' chains as he passes by. Ruby already found another set on one of the dead bodies and is currently unchaining the others. I approach the mother hen of the group and unchain her collar, my hand nearly shaking from the fury of having to unhook a fucking collar from a little girl's neck. Welts and a large bruise encircle her throat, but I don't let her see the rage simmering beneath the surface. She stares at me silently, suspicion and tentative hope warring in her pretty light brown eyes. Her eyes remind me of my little mouse, and something protective flares inside my chest. "What's your name, kid?" I ask, keeping my eyes trained to hers. She's probably waiting for my leery gaze to travel the expanse of her body, but she won't ever get that shit from me.
Cicely?
She answers. I quirk a brow. Is that where your parents come from? I question, noting her tanned skin peeking from beneath the grime on her face. She nods her head tentatively.
Ma and Pa were born there, but they haven't been able to go back since they were in their teens. They said they named me after the island because, even though they're homesick, I provide them with the only home they need.
I nod, eyeing her face. Purple blooms from her right eye, and another spark of anger ignites. You ready to give them a home again? She pauses, and then a small smile forms.
Yes.
She whispers. Tears flood her eyes, but I don't let her know that I noticed. I can tell she wouldn't appreciate it. Let's go then, kid. This little girl will go back home, and though she has a long journey ahead of her, she'll heal. We keep tabs on all the girls we extract to ensure they don't go missing again. If it can happen once, it can happen twice. She huddles in close to me as we walk out of the building. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a girl step in blood. I pause, pointing at her but glaring at Ruby. Ruby, what did I say? Not a drop of blood on the girls. Ruby startles, roles reversing as she rushes toward the girl with shame.
I'm sorry, honey bunny. Let me clean you up.
She coos to the little girl with way more than just a fucking drop on her foot.
Watch your step, okay?
I turn, satisfied that she won't let it happen again. I help Cicely navigate through the carnage, keeping one eye firmly on her feet and where she walks. When she's in the clear, I lead her to the van where they'll transport her safely to the hospital. There, her family will be notified. I whistle an unnamed tune as I let my crew take care of the rest and head to my Mustang, hidden in another parking lot across the street. I'm eager to get the fuck out of here. My hunt isn't over yet. I have to play with my little mouse now.
Chapter 7. The Manipulator. You need to get out of the house, Daya concludes, staring at me with fear and distress swirling in her sage eyes. I just told her about my mom's visit yesterday. By the look on her face, I can tell that she's well and truly scared for me. I need to finish this manuscript, I argue, my thoughts straying to the massive plot hole I've fallen into. It doesn't seem to matter how many times I press the proverbial life alert, I can't get up. I'm going to have to roll out my whiteboard and sticky notes to map out the plot tonight so I can figure out how to solve the issue once and for all. Sometimes I wish I could just simplify my books and call it a day, but then I wouldn't have the readership I have. Daya snipes, shaking her head at me. Get ready, we're having a girls' night. I slump, the whiteboard and sticky notes going poof. But I don't argue. I'm an indie author, so I publish when I'm ready to. I hardly set deadlines for myself because the pressure suppresses my creativity. I can't write when I'm too ridden with anxiety to get the book done by a specific time. And as great as my readers are, there's always that pressure to get the next book out. Of course, Daya knows this and now wields this knowledge as a weapon. Dick. Groaning, I let her hurtle me up the stairs and into my bedroom, my eyes immediately finding the mirror and chest. They always seem to do that now after finding out what really happened in here. Those two pieces feel like beacons in the room now, glaring at me as if to say, I know who killed her. It doesn't matter that I slapped some black paint on them, the bones are still the same. The walls and floor are smooth black rock now, with white ceilings and large white rugs to lighten up the room. I also installed a heating system in the floors. Otherwise, getting up in the middle of the night to pee and stepping on ice-cold floors would just be cruel and unusual punishment. I decided I loved the sconces in the hallway so much that I wanted a few in my room, too. Placed artfully on the wall my bed is against, surrounding a massive, beautiful art piece of a woman. Straight ahead of the bedroom door is my favorite part, the balcony. Black double doors open up to a terrace that overlooks the cliffside. It has a way of making you feel small and insignificant when you're standing before a sight as beautiful as that. The entire house has now been modernized, though I kept most of the original style. The sconces, checkered floors, black stone fireplace, and black cabinets, just to name a few. Most importantly, I kept Gigi's red velvet rocking chair. I'm living in a Victorian Gothic dream house. We're going to make you look hot and find you a delicious man to take home tonight. And if the stalker comes around, you can kill him too. I roll my eyes. Daya, it's hard to find a man these days that can even fuck right. You think I'm going to find a man that will kill in my honor too? That's cute. You never know, baby girl. Crazier things have happened. The bass pumping through the speakers vibrates throughout my body. My black, ripped, skinny jeans cling to my curves, and the plunging, low-cut red tank shows off my ample cleavage, along with the small, glistening beads of sweat between my breasts. It's fucking hotter than Hades' ballsack, and the alcohol pumping through my veins doesn't help matters. For a solid hour, Daya and I stick close to each other and dance. We both briefly separate to dance with a few men, but I tend to tire of the groping hands quickly and always find my way back to my best friend. Suddenly, a heavy presence crowds into my back, his hands sliding around my waist and pressing in close. A whiff of spearmint and whiskey invades my senses right before I feel his breath on my ear.
You're beautiful,
He whispers, his spearmint gum stinging my nose now that he's closer. I wrinkle my nose and turn my head to see a tall, attractive man leaning over me. He has strawberry blonde hair, pretty blue eyes, and a killer smile. Just my type. I grin. Why, thank you. I respond sweetly. Social situations nearly send me into hibernation, but I've always been skilled at flirting. Too bad most times I can't stand to do it. Men have a unique way of killing my mood every time I come within 10 feet of them.
Come upstairs with me.
He yells over the music. His voice isn't aggressive by any means, but it's not a question either. It's a demand that leaves little room for argument. I like that. I cock a brow. And if I don't? I ask. His smile widens.
You'll regret it for the rest of your life.
The other brow joins its twin, hiking halfway up my forehead. Really? I say demurely. What kind of plans do you have for me that I'd regret missing out on for the rest of my life?
The kind that leaves you naked and sated in my bed.
Bitch, let's go already. Daya cuts in. My head turns to her, but I feel the man's eyes linger on my face, caressing my cheek like a feather tracing across skin. Daya is standing in front of us, impatiently waving her hand towards the stairs that lead to the second floor. She must have been eavesdropping, and she doesn't look the least bit ashamed. When we both just stare at her, she huffs and rolls her eyes. We get it. You're hot for each other, and she doesn't go anywhere without me, so let's go already. She waves her hands at us more urgently, shooing us towards the stairs. The man laughs and seizes the opportunity provided by my dear best friend. Grabbing my hand, he leads me towards the black metal stairs at the back of the club. But not before I shoot Daya a narrow-eyed look, one which she dutifully cackles at. Upstairs is for VIP members only. The stairs lead up to a balcony that overlooks the entirety of the club. It's where the rich, important people drink, staring out at us like a bunch of bugs trapped in a science experiment. The atmosphere up here is darker, denser, and has a vibe that has my instincts flaring red. Walking up here feels like sticking my head into a hornet's nest, and the bastards won't stop stinging until they tire of you, or you're dead. 4 men are draped across a black leather booth formed in a half moon. In the center is a black marble table occupied by several glasses of amber liquid, along with a few crystal ashtrays. There's barely a hint of color in here, the decor reminding me of Parsons Manor. A man eyes the both of us with a predatory and calculated gleam. He looks eerily similar to the man who has his hand wrapped around mine. Same strawberry blonde hair and blue eyes, though this one appears younger and a tad more wicked. The other 3 men are equally handsome, all sporting the same dark and dangerous type. One man appears European with white blonde hair, fair, pale skin, and sharp, angular features. His hooded, icy blue eyes are locked on Daya as hers sweep across the small, intimate room. His gaze is already tracing the dips and curves of her body hungrily. My instincts spike again, telling me to pop the man's eyes out of their sockets and throw them over the balcony. The remaining 2 men are twins with tanned skin, dark hair and eyes, and killer bodies. Their suits can barely contain the muscles threatening to rip the expensive fabric at the seams. One twin has long hair tied back in a bun and several rings adorning his fingers, while the other has his hair cropped close to his head and a diamond nose ring. All four of them could easily ruin my life, and I would be hesitant to stop them.
So, you finally grew the balls and got her.
The blonde man says, grinning devilishly at me. He's the only one out of the four that isn't eye-fucking us. Honestly, he looks like he'd be far more interested in eating babies for dinner. There's a dark aura around him. If I could guess, the unsettling atmosphere up here derives directly from him. His energy sprouts and festers until it makes you feel like you're trapped in a room breathing in black smoke.
Quiet, Connor.
The man says from beside me, his tone low and full of warning. I nearly roll my eyes. He looks like a Connor. The frat boy that hangs around unoccupied drinks and sneaks his phone under girls' skirts to take pictures.
Ladies, sorry for his rude behavior.
My new friend says, his smile not quite reaching his eyes.
That's my brother Connor. The twins, Landon and Luke, and then Max.
He points to each man respectively, Landon being the twin with the man bun, and Luke the one with a nose ring. I train my gaze on my companion with an expectant brow raised. And your name?
I'm Archibald Talavera III. You can call me Arch.
Sounds pretentious, I muse, smiling at the fact that he gave me his full name. Who actually introduces themselves to a stranger that way? Archibald Talavera III. Just call me your royal hind ass. His brother Connor laughs in response, seeming to agree. Arch opens his mouth, but I cut him off. I'm Addie, and this is Daya. I introduce, pointing towards my best friend. She offers a smile, but her stare is sharp and assessing. She's too keen and intelligent to get sucked into danger like I tend to do.
Nice to meet you, ladies.
Max murmurs, his attention still glued to Daya. Matter of fact, the twins have hardly looked away from her since the moment she walked into the room either. Every bit of me wants to step in front of her and protect her from the prying, feral eyes. But Daya can handle her own, so I stay beside her, ready to attack if needed.
Sit, please.
Arch urges. There's plenty of room on the booth, but the two of us decide to sit on the end, closest to Max. My phone buzzes as soon as my ass hits the soft leather. Noticing that Daya has been immediately sucked into a conversation with Max, and Arch is filling up a glass of expensive bourbon. I sneak a peek at the text.
Unknown. Sneaking off with random men, little mouse? If I catch his hands anywhere near you, they'll end up in your mailbox by morning.
My heart stills in my chest.
Oh,
This is the
shit.
first time he has actually communicated with me outside of an ominous note. My eyes snap up towards the balcony. No one can see us from here. We're too far back from the railing, but yet someone is clearly watching me. But how? And how the hell did he get my number? Scratch that. That was a stupid question. He's a fucking stalker, for God's sake. Of course he has my number.
Well, he's a hacker.
Arch walks over and hands me a drink, a smile on his face. He thinks he's getting laid tonight. Normally, he might have, but it looks like I might have to save his life instead and get the hell away from him. An hour passes, and I grow more nervous as each minute ticks by. I haven't received another text, but it's sitting there, weighing down the back of my brain. I fear my brainstem will snap from the tension. Arch's hands definitely touch me. One currently rests on my thigh, dangerously close to my center. I stare down at the star tattooed on his thumb, my mind conjuring images of holding it, without his body attached. Yet, I let it happen, even though I shouldn't. And because I shouldn't, I can't stop staring at them, imagining them chopped off at the wrist and bloody, sitting in my mailbox. I don't even have a mailbox. My house is too far back from the road, so my mail is just left on my front step. Shouldn't a stalker know that? What a shitty little shadow.
You having fun?
Arch asks, nudging me with his shoulders. I nod absently as I continue to abuse my lip, trapped beneath my teeth. I should run. I should tell this man to get his hand off of me, if only it means it'll never be severed from his body and left in my non-existent mailbox.
You're tense.
Arch observes quietly. I clear my throat and open my mouth, but another buzz from my back pocket interrupts me. I can feel the color leach from my face. Arch's brows dip with concern, and it reminds me of the poor man that I nearly gave a heart attack by the cliff's edge. He glances down towards the sound.
Are you okay?
He asks, his voice only seeming to quieten further. I'm growing tired of the concerned looks, but yet they feel like lifelines. Like there's people out there that will notice my strange behavior and speak out if something ever happens to me. A news reporter will interview Arch, and he'll speak of how I seemed spooked by a text message. The construction worker who built my porch, his story will be broadcasted and talked about for weeks. A girl standing at the edge of a cliff, seeming to contemplate jumping and then nearly falling off. It all connects to the fact that I had a stalker, and the police brushed it off when I made my reports of random roses. But it won't change anything for the next girl that's being stalked. It never does. In the end, I'll be another statistic, but will fade away as just that. A beautiful girl stalked by an unhinged man, and no one bothered to help her until it was too late. I'm fine, I force out through a stilted smile. It feels wooden and disingenuous, but it does the trick nonetheless. His face relaxes and the concern bleeds away. Or rather, Arch is just letting it go because he doesn't actually care.
Do you want to leave?
He murmurs, his voice now full of promise and intent. His bottom lip disappears between his white teeth, the act in itself primal. The word no is on the tip of my tongue, like a little ballerina dancing precariously at the tip, dangerously close to falling off and breaking her ankle. Because if I say no to this man, I'll spend the rest of my night, week, possibly longer, regretting it. Hating myself for letting a freak control my life and rob me of a good time with a delicious man. He's beautiful, with a shade of darkness surrounding him that's as enticing and mouth-watering as chocolate cake. There's a promise that I would be ending the night with him entirely satisfied. And what if it evolves into more? What if I'm saying no to something beautiful? Those are a little girl's hopes and dreams, but I can't help thinking them anyways. He looks like a man that I could settle down with, but dangerous enough to keep me excited. Yes, I say quietly, finally. But after I know Daya gets home safely. Arch smiles slowly, salaciously.
I can see to that.
July 7th, 1944. Ronaldo likes to tease. Only an hour after I send Serafina off to school, he comes in and tells me to sit in my dining room chair. I follow his orders eagerly. His fingers whisper across my flesh. When I talk to him, he doesn't respond. He unbuttons my blouse, baring my breasts. Then onto my trousers, he pulls them down and leaves me in nothing but my undergarments. He smiles when he sees the excitement in my eyes, yet he still denies me. He never touches me where I want him to, where I need him to. His fingers taunt me, and then he leaves. And it takes everything in me not to beg for him to come back. One of these days, I won't be able to control myself any longer.
Alrighty then. That was Haunting Adeline, chapter 6 and 7, right? Yes, chapter 6 and 7. Woo, man. So, we found out that homeboy is fucking dangerous, but he's a good guy. You know, like, he's dangerous as fuck, but he does all his killing and stuff because, you know, he's stopping human trafficking. And that's actually awesome, you know. Hey. And I loved how she was just like, oh, how am I going to find a guy who fucks me good and would kill for me? And it's like,
You sure about that?
because, I mean, homeboy is willing to, you know, chop off homeboy's hand for you. Like, goddamn. But, shit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, those 2 chapters, man. I'm loving, every week we get to go through this and, get closer and closer to the end of it. I love it, love it, love it. But that's going to be it for me for today, man. All right, patreon.com/My The Asshole Podcast. If you guys want to get your scenarios onto the show, and if you want to get an extra episode a week, every episode every Friday, man, head on to the Patreon, dude. $3 a month. TikTok and Instagram, keep supporting and following there for the clips, as well as keep downloading and rating the podcast, man. But that's going to be it for me. I love you guys, and peace.